we're going to be talking about coordinate geometry. Um, so we're going to be talking about coordinate geometry. So as you probably know, like we usually work with something called the XY plane. So we kind of have like two number lines basically. Where the left right, this one is called the x-axis, and the top bottom one is called the y-axis. So yeah, like as I said, if you wanted to graph the point like 5, -2, that would just mean you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the right, and then you'd go down 2. So 1, 2. So this would be the point 5, -2. So yeah, that was just the basic stuff. You probably already knew that. So yeah, so being able to plot points is like very fundamental and important in coordinate geometry. So yeah, now let's I guess let's just start talking about things like lines, since yeah, those are also very important. So like as we know, if you have like any 2 points, right, then they're going to automatically like determine a single line. Like there's going to be a line that passes through the 2 points. So if I were to give you some like coordinate plane, and I plotted 2 points, like maybe this is the point 2, 3, and maybe this is the point like -4, 9, maybe. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. -4, like we'll say -9. Then these 2 points, if I know the coordinates of these 2 points, then there's going to be a line that's going to pass through these 2 points, right? So what we might try to be interested in is knowing what the equation of this line is. And what that means, or before we get to equations of lines, let's first talk about something called slope. So basically, any line is going to have like a certain slope. And what the slope represents is kind of like how steep the line is. So for example, this line here is like, I don't know, it's not a very good example, but it's like moderately steep. Like if I had like some line that looked like this on the coordinate plane, if I had this line, then this is, you can clearly tell this is not very steep. This is like close to being horizontal. So this has a small slope. But on the other hand, if you have like this thing and you graph like this line, then clearly you can see this is like very like vertical. Like it's very like slanted upwards, which is why this has like, you can say this has a large slope. So basically like the slope of a line kind of determines like how steep the line is. So a larger slope, like the one on the right, means that the line is like more vertical, like it goes like it's more steep, while the one on the left, the line is like more horizontal, which means that like the line is not as steep, which means it has a small slope. So basically, to define what the slope is, we can find some mathematical formula. It turns out that if you have any 2 points, like if the first point is called like x1, y1, and the second point has coordinates like x2, y2, then the slope of this line, you might often hear people refer to slope as rise over run. You might sometimes hear that in like school or like in other math classes or things like that. And what that just basically means is you're going to take the vertical difference between the like 2 y coordinates, and you're going to divide that by like the horizontal distance. So you're going to take the red distance divided by the blue distance. So so the red distance is going to equal y1 minus y2, because like this point has coordinates y1, has a y coordinate of y1, and this coordinate here has a coordinate of y2. So like the vertical distance is going to be y1 minus y2, which represents the difference between the y coordinates. And similarly, the difference in the x coordinates is going to be x1 minus x2. And yeah, so that's the distance of the blue line. So we define slope mathematically as the rise, like the vertical distance, divided by the run, which represents like the horizontal distance. So in this case, the slope would be equal to y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. Just a brief note that it actually doesn't really matter which point you do minus which point. Like you can also write this as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. As long as you reverse the order, stay consistent, then it's fine. Just in case if that was confusing. So this is kind of like the formula for the slope of a line. If you know 2 points that the line passes through. And oftentimes in math, in algebra, we usually abbreviate the slope of a line as using the variable m. So you let m represent the slope of the line. I don't know why it's m. It's just like a common letter that everyone uses in algebra for the slope of a line. So if we wanted to apply this definition, this kind of formula thing, for example, we can take a look at this example up here. If we had the line passing through the points 2, 3 and -4, -9, like let's say we wanted to find the slope of this line, then to find the slope, we would use the formula, which is we take the difference in the y coordinates, so 3 minus -9, and we would divide that by the difference between the x coordinates, so 2 and -4, so 2 minus -4. So this is the slope. We usually use the letter m. And if you were to calculate 3 minus -9, that's 12. And on the bottom, 2 minus -4, that is 6. So 12 divided by 6, that means the slope of this line is 2. And that's how you would calculate the slope of a line.